It has been reported by Deadline.com. Jim Carrey is in talks to play Dr. Robotnik in the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
So what you're saying is we might get Ace Ventura mixed with Riddler with this portrayal, hopefully.
Alrighty then.
Well, Dr. Eggman is a hammy villain, and Carrey does know how to ham it up, and also if they're going the mocap direction, he has that experience with A Christmas Carol.
That is true. I will read for Beta.
Okay.
Here's an intriguing combination. Jim Carrey and Sonic the Hedgehog. Sources said Carrey is negotiating to star in the Paramount film in the role of Robotnik, a villain in the live-action CGI adaptation of the hit Sega video game. Pick stars James Marsden and Tika Sumpter and is directed by Jeff Fowler. Neil Moritz, Mia Onishi, and Tim Miller are producers. Pat Casey and Josh Miller wrote the script, and should be noted, these two are both diehard Sonic fans, and by diehard we mean the sensible ones, not the crazy ones that complain about something that they asked for. Seriously, guys, you got to stop doing that. You're making the rest of us look bad. Hey, I'm just saying what we're all thinking. Sonic must stop Dr. Eggman from completing his plans for world domination is basically the gist of this one. Sonic the Hedgehog has spanned several iterations from Sega consoles in the 1990s to mobile fan and absorption into the Nintendo Mario Bros. Video game universe. The series has sold over 80 million physical copies of games and over 350 million units across packaged software and mobile downloads. Sonic has also spawned 5 TV series in its history. Saturn is the best. Stop denying it. You all know it's true. Carrey, who spends a lot of his time now Win knows exactly what I'm thinking. I speak the truth. Carrey, who spends a lot of his time now painting and sketching, last starred in Dark Crimes and Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, where he was actually doing like a drama-mentary of Andy Kaufman, and he was in character the whole time. Even when, it was stuff like, oh, you can cut for now. He's like, nope, staying in character. And has been exec producing the Showtime series I'm Dying Up Here, and he's an exec producing and starring in Showtime's Kidding, which premieres in September. He's repped by WME and attorney. Where to start with this? When we broke the news of James Marsden being cast in a lead role for the movie, what lead role they're still being very tight-lipped about. My presumption is going to be he's going to be a lead role where he's the human male protagonist, because it's been made very clear Sonic is going to be the main character and the sole focus of the movie, not like Transformers starring the silly humans. Seriously, stop it with that. No one's buying that anymore. Kaiju said on Point that they're going for talent rather than huge star power credibility. Now, with Jim Carrey, we're talking about The Mask, Ace Ventura, The Grinch, and sadly the Cable Guy. I mean, really, movie studio? Why'd you have to make that piece of crap? Almost wrecked his career. As for the Truman Show, I don't know what to tell you about that. That was weird. Especially as for the number 23, I ain't touching that movie. I saw enough to no, I ain't watching this. No.
I will tell you, the Truman Show is a masterpiece. Okay, you watch your mouth.
I will do what I please. I watched that, and I'm like, I watched that movie. I'm like, so we're watching a movie adaptation of Big Brother, but it stars Jim Carrey.
I actually kind of like that movie.
If there is one movie I could definitely recommend that had him out of the box and doing it quite well, was Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind.
Yeah,
I do hear good things about that.
Yeah. Another movie I've heard
shows how really versatile he is, and from what I understand, while the reviews were mixed for number 23, from what I understand, his performance was pretty damn consistent.
I've also heard a lot of good positive word of mouth with that. What was it? It was a drama he was doing that was based on a true story called "I Love You, Philip Morris," where he was
Alright.
playing an individual who went to jail several times and has actually escaped jail multiple times due to like outrageous circumstances.
Interesting.
The funny thing is, like, whenever people think of Jim Carrey, they always think about his like his how would you call it? His most popular movies, which was around like the 90s, early 2000s era. However, I feel like modern day Jim Carrey, he hasn't actually done all that wacky Ace Ventura shtick in a long time. I think like he's mostly been relegating himself to actual like dramas or dramedies. Only once do I ever recall him doing doing the stuff that he did back in his prime, which was, I think it was called Yes Man or Yes.
Yes, man.
yeah.
Yes, man.
Yes Man. Yeah, I think it was like the last movie he did like all out crazy, wacky mask Ace Ventura stuff. So with a role like Robotnik, I'm not really sure what to expect out of a modern day Jim Carrey performance. I'm not sure if he's going to try to get that like mid 90s energy back, or if is he going to be just wacky but in a more subtle, more toned down way that you would expect from like modern Jim Carrey performances, or he's still like a little eccentric, but at the end of the day, he's just a guy.
Because the image, I mean, as you said, if it was a Jim Carrey from the 90s, it would probably be something akin to the Long John Baldry portrayal from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, because I don't know what it is, but that particular iteration of the character is more popular now than when he first started out, especially with the whole Pingus meme, which all because it started from a line, snooping as usual, I see, which, there are people that have more time, patience, and people who have less of a life than I do, which is saying a lot. That's not to have a knock on you guys, but come on, when you're making me look sadder than everyone else, you've really sunk to a new low. But they managed to take snooping and make it sound like Pingus, which has been a gag for like the better part of
a decade now.
Yeah, I do want to say about 10 years, because that's how long it's been going on. It's one of those memes, it doesn't seem to get tired. There are some memes like Rickroll, for example, because there are people still getting Rickrolled. I was like, yeah, that was cute for about, 3 to 4 months in 2008? And in the Bumblebee movie, in order to help Bumblebee communicate, I'm going somewhere with this, his teenage sidekick, for lack of a better description, she says, you use the radio to communicate, and she puts a cassette tape in, and it's playing Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. I'm like, oh, for gosh sakes, like, will you let that meme die?
It is the what would you call it? It is the all-star of the Sonic memes.
Yeah.
We have to remember the average intelligence of most movie audiences these days.
Good point.
That's a thing I
back in the
recognize.
days.
Anyway.
Oh no.
Oh, and Figure have no involvement with the Sonic movie.
That could be a good thing.
Well, consider most video game movies have zero involvement with the movies, and look how they turn out.
True.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right.
I will say Rampage turned out to be good, but then again, it didn't follow what little story there was in the original arcade games.
There's also the MK movie, but we all know what happened after.
Yes.
Fatality.
Oh, that movie still hurts me.
From what I understand, Assassin's Creed was actually watchable.
I've heard so many bad things about that movie.
Well, at least that's what a couple of friends have told me. I could be wrong. Recent video game movie I liked was the Ratchet and Clank movie, but that's because Insomniac Studios had Universal under a watchful eye when that was being animated.
Mm.
And it
Yeah,
had the original voice cast, say for maybe John Goodman as the mentor character for Ratchet. It was a fun movie. Hell, the trailer even made fun of the pandery stuff. Like, where's this? Where's the dubstep? Whenever it's on the tree. And I loved it. Especially since it's always fun to watch them take the piss out of Quark.
I don't want to go off topic, but weren't like the creators of the Ratchet and Clank movie also going to be making a Sly Cooper movie, and they had like a teaser trailer of some sort?
Development.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, some animated films, when they're progress, tend to go through development hell. Like look at The Incredibles 2, but in this case, it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it was a lot. It was really well received.
Shame I have to wait until August for that to come over here.
Seriously?
Yep, August 1st, whole month from now.
Ouch.
When
Well,
are
you
you
know it's
getting?
gonna do
Fuck
well,
you, Japan.
Well, you know
When are you getting?
well.
When are you getting Fallen Kingdom?
Mid-July, so like the 15th, I think.
I got something to say a little bit later with regards to Fallen Kingdom, but we'll get back on track. I think more than likely what they'll probably get Carrey to do is, all right, here is your source material of what to look at with Robotnik. You know, look at what Long John did, look at what Jim Cummings did, look at what Gary Chalk did, look at what Dean Bristow did, which apparently in one of the episodes for Sonic Boom, they actually had Mike Pollock to say in this tone, "I can't believe this," which I thought, thank you, sir. Thank you. Dean would have been proud, because sadly the guy's no longer with us, which is a shame because he was a good Robotnik. And then, you know, like I say, look at what Mike Pollock has done, because Mike Pollock has been doing this since 2003, and he's pretty much perfected it now. And he's the only one since 2003 that has done it through Sonic X, has done it through the games, and has stayed as Robotnik going through Sonic Boom, which I know we have a personal rule in here that we don't get into politics, but I can't believe Cartoon Network and We Do Studios had the balls to make this reference. Michael said, we should we really be complaining about the mayor's private email server? I'm like, oh.
Ooh.
Okay, you went there. Like, okay.
That is, like I said, that is one thing I do like about Boom. It's the self-awareness done right.
And, you know, the whole Misery episode, and then says it's pointed at this one particular obsessed fan, and Chris Chan says, "This is not about me." Bullshit, it is. Stop lying.
You lie!
I think more than likely, Carrey will look at what has gone before, maybe have little elements of that in and have some very respectful references, but more than likely, I think he'll try to make this thing his own. He'll try to, not what has been done before, you know, be inspired and influenced, because, and here's the thing, people, you can actually draw reference and inspiration for what has gone before and not straight up copying it, because that's called doing it right. That is a real thing. Again, I think he'll just try to make it his own thing, but it would be just so, if he just like, even if this is just like outtakes, he just goes, "Well, Sonic, I guess you win again. Alrighty then." Because I know you guys have been making all these jokes in the Discord server since this news dropped.
I still say I'm expecting to see a scene where James Marsden corners Eggman and he just breaks out into Cuban Pete.
Okay. people who have Source Filmmaker, here's your challenge. And you can even have this idea. You don't have to credit me. This is an idea free of charge. Have Robotnik, whichever incarnation that you want, doesn't matter. Have him reenacting the Cuban Pete dance scene from The Mask. That is your challenge. I want to see that done.
I also want to see the victory dance he did in Ace Ventura, and the one dance he did in Ace Ventura when Nature Calls, when he was in that rock concert.
Oh yes.
But then again, this also brings up, is James Marsden going to be playing Sonic? If this was Sonic recanting, in later years, recanting about what happened, then that would be believable. But Sonic is going to be depicted as a juvenile delinquent, so anywhere from 14 to 17. As much as I am believing in Marsden's capability as an actor, because he's a good actor, I can't see him pulling off a teenage role. I just think Sonic should either be voiced and mocapped by someone completely unknown, or just get on the phone and call up Roger or Jaleel. Jaleel specifically, I say that through obvious bias because he is the OG of Sonic voice actors, and even Roger has said on Twitter that he was a tough act to follow, which is true because he made that character his own. But Roger, in his own right, has made that character almost an extension of his, with this slightly snarkier wit, which works. But they need to drop it with the Baldy McNose hair insults, because it's coming off as cringy. I mean, I like Sonic to be witty, but at the same time, look at it where it's like if you got your best buddy, he's trying to act cool, and he's just it's just coming off cringy. You have to tap him on the shoulder and say, "Dude, stop it, you're making me and you look bad. Stop it." So that's probably what I'm looking for. I mean, Tim Fowler will probably have something completely different in mind for Robotnik. I don't know exactly what they're going to go for. But the fact that Tim Miller is on board as a producer, and as Kaiju has pointed out, this is a guy who knows how to get every cent out, like what he did for the first Deadpool movie. And the first Deadpool movie is still better than the second one. The second one has its faults. I enjoy it, but the first one's better. Let's just leave it for what it is. But he knows what he's looking for. I'm just hoping that the writers stay true and they actually have a lot of faithful references to what they're going to be covering. Because by the time it gets to November next year, it would have been 28 years since Sonic first appeared. So there's near 30 years worth of material to try and reference and draw inspiration from. And as said before, you only get your first impression once. I mean, just look at the Mario Brothers movie, or the Mortal Kombat movie, or the first Resident Evil movie, which that series should have tapped out a long time ago. Seriously, folks, stop embarrassing yourselves. And the less we say about Doom, the better, because that movie, Rock, if you're ever listening to this, I love you. I think you're a great actor, probably one of the best WWE champions of all time. But my gosh, man, that movie was a piece of shit.
I think even he himself has acknowledged the failure of Doom during the marketing for Rampage. He's like, hey man, I want to make up for Doom, where it's like, oh, I know a lot about bad video game movies. I want to do right by Rampage. I mean, after all, I was in Doom.
Like I say, you only get a first impression once, and Paramount, of all the video game adaptations, because I think the only one that was ever decent was the first Tomb Raider movie in 2000. That was the only one that was ever done justice. Actually, no. That was 2001. Excuse me.
What about the new one that came out this year that everyone has already forgotten about?
I haven't actually seen it, but according to Steve the Vince Wilton, it wasn't that great.
Okay.
And just for context, Steve the Vince Wilton was on the WrestleMania 34 panel for this year.
Okay.
I'm just going to read some of the comments. Or Battleship. I think Stephen Walker is making reference to bad video game movies. Dude, as far as I'm concerned, we don't talk about Battleship. The only thing that was the saving grace is this of that was Liam Neeson. No, we're not on a 2-week break, Oni.
I was on a 2-week break.
Let's see. Sean Retro, that movie was doomed to begin with.
Speaking because I was talking about recent Jim Carrey performances, does anyone remember his role as Colonel Stars and Stripes in Kick-Ass 2?
Yeah,
I do. Yes.
Now that's a really good over-the-top performance there.
Yeah.
Like I say, to wrap up, I'm intrigued by what they'll give us with Jim Carrey, whether he's going to be cast as Robotnik or Eggman. It's kind of up in the air. James Marsden as Sonic, I don't know, but if I get given, a trailer or some concept art or a clip, even if it's just him in mocap footage. Aaron Izzard, how you doing, folks? If we just get something we can work with, then okay, show me proof and maybe I'll be a believer. But at this stage, I'm skeptical, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be getting my hopes up purposely because I've been disappointed before. So we'll just wait and see. Win. We'll start with you. What do you make of it?
Well, it's in the air right now. On one hand, Jim Carrey is a fairly versatile actor, as I've said. He has the mocap experience with A Christmas Carol, and normally does all right if the script is good. On the other, I can see why some people might be skeptical, because there's so many other actors out there that could probably do a phenomenal performance in themselves as well. I still say if they were going the live action approach instead of mocap, I probably would have went with Ron Perlman, because he has the make, he has the build, and if they give him the kind of sad-am personality, he would fucking kill it.
Absolutely. Well, it's Ron Perlman.
Hell, he could even do kind of campy if he wants to, because at one point he was Hellboy after all, and he was in the old Beauty and the Beast crime drama TV hybrid.
Oh yeah,
with Linda Hamilton.
All those prosthetics. And I'm talking about the one from the late 80s, early 90s, not the one that came out in 2013, which I'm not even sure if that one's on the air still.
Oh no, it's not. It ended about like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't really know, because remember, I don't really watch television.
Well, no, because most of the time TV's garbage these days.
You are not wrong.
But I
see it.
It's like I feel Perlman could do a good job. Carrey has the potential to do a good job if they decide to go with him. And if they kind of wanted to go with the short, stubby CG, then probably do a Danny DeVito for shits and giggles, since it be mocap.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Since Raiden is AFK, Lids, what do you make of this?
I'm a little two minds about it. Seeing as Jim Carrey is a versatile actor, we've seen him do comedy and drama. I'd be okay with whatever option they go with. He goes with Robotnik. Just Jim, leave your politics at the door. Do not ruin it.
Yeah. I really don't like it when actors do that these days. I mean, I appreciate there are some things they believe passionately, but there's a reason why they say be professional.
Exactly. Yeah, but I'm open to this. Like I will give it a shot until they release like a trailer or mocap footage or whatever. I'll wait and see.
Yeah, that would help. Context does matter.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiju, even though you're not the biggest Sonic fan, what do you make of the idea of casting, the man of Ace Ventura fame as the longtime nemesis of Sonic?
To paraphrase what Win said a while back, I feel like this may be an appropriate casting choice because at the end of the day, Dr. Eggman is a very goofy, silly, over-the-top character in most of his incarnations. So I feel like having an actor who can be just as eccentric as Dr. Eggman, I feel like he could bring something to the table while also perhaps putting his own spin on things. And so I think this may be a good choice for now. I'm not sure exactly what sort of direction he's going to go in, but I'm sure that he was probably casted because of both of his star power and perhaps for his the amount of energy he pours into all of his performances.
A couple of Riddler jokes have popped up. Apparently, hey Sonic, riddle me this, and it's like, oh no.
No.
Don't be surprised if they start making jokes about this on Boom if that series is still continuing. As you say,
I will say perhaps like if he did something, like if he took like his Grinch performance and modified that, I think you can get a decent Eggman out of that performance.
Yeah, I could.
Sonic, if you call this number and say one single word, I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish.
Oh God.
That movie was awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
Right.
If you want to fax me, press the star key. I do like that. It's the fact like, if you utter such as one syllable, I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish. If you want to fax me, press the star key. Oh wow! Right, let's close off the Jim Carrey topic because this has been dragging on long enough. Raiden, your thoughts on Jim Carrey being cast as Robotnik and what kind of direction do you think he's likely to take with this character? Is he going to draw from what has already gone before, or is he going to try and put his own spin on it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty shocked that he was cast as Dr. Eggman, but all I knew was like what direction was gonna do it for. So I think the way I see it now is like I don't think he would rely on his old work. He would just try something new and just channel his old work in a way, but not like go full old school. So that said, it'll be interesting to see what he's gonna do with it. So I'm interested and excited at the same time. So good. It's just a matter of we're just gonna wait and see.